harmless robotic organisms from the planet Cybertron. My name is Optimus Prime.
Alright, what's up web design? We're coming to you here with our second day of working on forms from the third quarter. And what we finished with last time was a basic contact form here. We learned how to use the label tags, we learned how to use the input fields, text area, and our submit button. And we were actually able to get it so that if we type something in to the name and we submitted it, that we would see that change reflected up in top in the URL structure, and that is correct. So what we're going to look at today is how to take this and apply some basic styling to the form. So this is the exact same form. All we did was open it up and save it as sexy-form.html. That's right. And we apply a few basic effects. And really, when we talk about styling forms, the first thing we need to know are the hover and focus pseudo elements. And if we look over at completed CSS, as you can see in the example, we have some basic stuff going on with the wrapper, nothing new there, centering it using this margin trick here. And we also have border radius applied. Note that at the time of recording, the only browser-specific prefix that you need to use is the one for Mozilla, because WebKit and Safari and Chrome will now recognize border radius. So we come down to our labels, we set them to display block, we did a little text shadow, some fancy CSS3 there, but nothing else really going on that we haven't dealt with before. We see the border radius again around the input and text area field, and notice that we link these two together. And something that we said during the lab was that you want to be careful, because if you style an input field, that's going to apply for not just the input fields that you type in, but also the input field that you click on to submit your form. So that's why your submit form looks very similar to the other input fields that you would click on. So coming down, what we see here is the real crux of the beauty of the form. And we see that we're using the hover pseudocode for input and for text area, and we're just changing it from a background color that's a light gray to a white. And the key to remember with forms is subtlety. You want to do things that engage the user in a subtle, almost subconscious way that lead them into clicking into the form, because your goal is for them to submit the form with the information that you're looking for, possibly credit card information. And then the newest one that we have here is the pseudo style focus. And what focus is when you click inside of the form. So when I click inside of it, notice that the background stays white, but also that the border gets darker. And that's done using the focus pseudocode. And this will not work for other elements, because you can't actually click in them to type in words, but it'll work here. And notice that we've also set on the submit form, hover over it and display the pointer cursor, because it's not by default that you see the little hand pointing when you hover over a submit button. So that's all we have here for our basic contact form, and when we tune in next time, we'll look at how to put background images and style our forms a bit more like the inspiration we got from Smashing Magazine a week ago. Alright, so there you have it, sexy, simple web form.